Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Salman Anjum at my YouTube channel, and the topic we are going to discuss today is another human system, which is urinary system. So, as the name is indicating, the urinary system is about urine. That means it is about urine production as well as the release of urine from the body. So that shows when we release out the urine from the body, so it is basically a waste. So this urinary system is basically working for excretion of the waste, in particular urea. So can you at this point count for me how different types of waste your body can excrete other than urea? Of course, there is water. If there is excessive water in the body, that becomes like a waste and that has to be excreted out of the body. Number one. Number two, carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is also a waste that is excreted out of the body through respiratory system. Then the undigested food, or the food which is not required for the body, that is excreted in terms of feces through digestive system, through the large intestine. In the same way, there is another kind of waste which are different salts, or when you perspire, you are releasing water along with certain wastes or different salts through your skin. So your skin is also working in excretion of different kind of waste. But specifically, the urinary system is working for the excretion of urea in the form of urine plus water it is releasing out of the body, and alongside different other ways they are excreted through the urinary system, and we will discuss. Okay, we move on. As I have explained that it has a role in excretion, and I have also explained which kind of excretion is performed by urinary system and how this excretion is different from other kind of excretion which is done by respiratory system or skin system or digestive system. And I have also mentioned which kind of waste it releases out, specifically urea, and also water should also be considered as a waste. When it is in excessive amount in the body, it has to be released out of the body. So these are the components of the urinary system. Maybe you can look at them very clearly. It is composed of kidneys. And how many kidneys are present in your body? 2 kidneys, right and left kidney, and they both work the same way to basically filter your blood. They are the basic filters in your body which are performing the filtration function, and they are filtrating out your blood and they are releasing out the bad thing, which is urea, out of your body. And then once it is urine, the urea has been converted into urine, so it is passed and stored into this bladder, urinary bladder. But in between there are small tubings that you can name them as ureter. So ureter are small tubings which are bringing the urine from the kidney into urinary bladder. So since it is named as bladder, that means it is a sac-like thing which has the capability to store urine for some time. So once it is filled, it has to push the urine out of the body through its opening, which is called urethra. So urethra is a small tubing which has to release the urine out of the body, which is named as urethra. So again we can count the components: 2 kidneys, 2 ureters, 1 urinary bladder, and 1 urethra. So ultimately urine is out of the body. So after filtration of blood, so blood becomes clean, and because blood is a sink inside the body, and blood is picking up urea from different cells, and ultimately blood is donating its urea to the kidneys, and kidneys, they are picking up urea and specifically cleaning the blood. They are keeping the blood inside the body and just picking up urea and sending it in terms of urine to the urinary bladder through ureter and out of the body through urethra. So kidneys, then, they are called organs of filtration. And how much, of course, they are working all the day long, and we know that there is around 6 to 7 liters blood inside our body, and they continue to filter it throughout the day, and each day they roughly filter out 2000 liters of blood. So that is why the function of kidneys is so crucial to keep our blood clean. But of course, we don't have 2000 liters of blood. But if you keep on moving or flushing the kidneys with 6 to 7 liters of blood throughout the day, many times, so overall, it is like as if 2000 liters of blood has gone through the kidneys. And kidneys, they contain very fine filter system, which is called nephron. So kidney is a large thing. It's a large organ which contains small components, and those components, which are basic filters inside the kidney, they basically are working for kidneys and they are filtrating the blood for us. So they are named as nephrons. So this is how a kidney in detail it looks like. So you can look at the kidney, you can look at its color, you can look at its shape. Its shape looks like a bean, and kidney is surrounded by a lot of blood vessels like arteries, capillaries, veins. They all are there because blood has to go through the kidney to be filtered. That is why it is filled with a lot of blood vessels. And here are the nephrons. So there are many nephrons present all along the kidney, and they are basically filtrating the blood and ultimately picking up the urea and converting it into urine, and that goes from here through the ureter. This is the ureter here. So ureter then goes into urinary bladder and then out of the body through urethra. Sorry, the urine goes out of the body, not the ureter. So ureter is just a tubing that is connected with urinary bladder, and then urinary bladder through urethra sends out the urine out of the body. So we move on. Okay, so we also know that sometimes we feel more urination, and at other point we feel less urination. Sometimes we look at the color of the urine, it is more darker, and at other point it is less darker. So that is basically dependent upon the amount of water inside our body. As I mentioned before, that there are regulatory mechanisms who are all time working to count the amount of water inside the body, and that system is called homeostasis, and they always want to maintain the amount of water in our blood. So if there is less water inside our body, for example, if it is hot summer and you are drinking less water, so of course water is being released through skin as well, through perspiration. So there is less water in the blood, so that means there would be less urination. So amount of water released through urination system would be decreased, and you would feel, of course, more thirst. You would need to drink more water, so that the amount of water should be increased in your blood or maintained, because sweating is happening because it is hot summer, and of course you would feel thirsty and there would be less urination. And second condition is when it is winter and you are drinking water normally, so there is less sweating, of course, or very least sweating, number one, and you would also not feel too much thirst, and you are drinking water normally like regular, and you are not doing any exercise, let's say, of course you would feel more urination. So it is very common, very natural thing. So this way your kidneys basically, they are working to regulate the amount of water in your blood, which is very important function of the kidneys. So there are two major functions of kidneys. One is to filter out your blood, and second one is to help the body maintaining the amount of water in your blood. Okay, then how come the body or the kidneys basically, they come to know what they should decide, what they should do, whether they should release out more water or they should keep or absorb more water? For example, in summer, and when you are feeling thirsty, there is less urination. That means kidneys would not allow too much waste of water through urination. So that means there are some chemicals which are called hormones. They are also working in the body, and they are ordering or basically telling the kidneys what to do. And these hormones are called anti-diuretic hormone. If you look at this word, this is quite complex this time, but let's say anti means opposite, di means twice or increased, uretic means urine production. So diuretic means more urine production, and anti-diuretic means, of course, opposite to more urine production means less urine production. So if this hormone is active, that means your body would be producing less urine, because this hormone is against more urine production, anti-diuretic. So this way, if this hormone is active, that means it would not allow more water to be released through the kidneys. So it would regulate the amount of water in the urine, or in fact ultimately in your blood. So this hormone would allow more absorption of water by the nephron. So nephron would not release water out of the body. Instead, they would continue to absorb more water and keep it inside your blood. So opposite to antidiuretic are the things which are called diuretics. Diuretics are those things which are opposite to antidiuretic. That means they support more urine production. Okay, for example, which kind of food you think that can be diuretic? Tea. If you take tea, you would feel more urine production. You would feel more pressure on the urinary bladder. You must have witnessed sometime when people go for abdominal ultrasound. So doctors, they ask them to drink 1 liter water or extra water. And if they are not still feeling any pressure on the urinary bladder, like more urine production, they ask them to take a cup of tea. So when they take a cup of tea, they start to feel more pressure on the urinary bladder. That means more urine production. So that means tea is a diuretic. So diuretics always work against antidiuretic. So this way your body has a balance between diuretics and antidiuretics. And finally, like we always discuss about disorders, so kidney system or urinary system basically has its own kind of disorders. There can be certain bacterial infections to the urethra or inside urinary bladder. There can be kidney stones which are quite painful, and of course they have to be removed through certain waves or through some chemical procedure, and they may cause kidney failure as well in certain extreme conditions. And of course there are other kidney diseases, for example kidney failure for some reasons, or cancer of the kidneys. So this way ultimately all the diseases, they affect the efficiency of the kidneys. So you can witness here the size of a typical kidney stone. So stones, they can be of multiple sizes depending upon if they are larger chunks, they would of course cause more pain, and if they are smaller, still they are very painful, and they can be released by using certain waves and be broken down into small pieces and released through urination or otherwise through some medicines. So it was it about urinary system. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me, and thank you so much.